Welcome to the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast.
Hi, I'm David Manti, and welcome to a new episode of the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast. With me again this week is Harold Bouchard, President and CEO of Pre-Roller and Prosopac. How you doing today, Harold?
Very good. Thank you, David. Thanks to have me again on your show. Appreciate that very much.
Always a pleasure, Harold. Before we get started, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. Finally, if you want to email the podcast, you can reach me at david@cannabisequipmentnews.com. Harold, I was excited to have you back because it sounded like you have, some exciting new news for the Cannabis Equipment News audience. What's new at Pre-Roller?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, as you know, we do a lot of research and development. And recently, what happened is we were at some cannabis show, and there was a customer who really wanted our technology but couldn't really afford the large machine. So what we did is, with our team, say, look, we need to probably do a machine that will actually get to those customers that don't have like the volume and the money yet to invest in a large machine. So we created a machine, a couple of machines that would be ideal for smaller producer and get into the technology. So they will take advantage of all of our patented technology in terms of compression. So as you know, our machine makes a very high quality pre-rolls, and that's been our, if you want, our big feature in our machine. So we basically use that same technology and take that technology to a smaller machine that makes it extremely economical, if you want, by leaving some task manually. So basically what we did is we came up with a machine called the Pre-Roller 50. So as I described in our last interview, we did talk quite extensively on the Pre-Roller 200, the 100, and now the Pre-Roller 50 is basically a semi-automatic. It's a semi-automatic machine that used the same proven and patented technology in terms of the feeding system. So the tumbler is exactly what you'll find in the bigger machine on that smaller machine. We also use the same technology in terms of the weighing. So the weighing is the critical part of it. So as you know, conventional vibrating type technology, they don't really weigh the product. So with our scale, it's the same scale than the large machine. So basically you will weigh each dose individually very accurately down to 0.01 gram. And then after that, what you do is you fill and compact the product. The other huge feature with our machine has always been the quality of the end product. That's what makes us really different than automated machinery out there, that sometimes the compression is not perfect. And we really focus on that in terms of technologies to create a perfect pre-rolls. And so we basically use the same pre-compaction and compaction technology in the semi-automatic machine than the large machine. The rest, we leave it manually. So basically the way the machine works is you put an empty cone in, okay? And then there's like a tray. You'll see a picture of the machine probably there if you want. We'll send you some 3D picture of the actual equipment, so you'll be able to visualize it a bit better. But basically you put an empty cone in, the tray turns, we weigh the cannabis flower, fill, pre-compaction, compaction, and then turns again. And then the operator will remove it and put it to a tray. And I'll explain also the other machine after. So what you make sure is you've got your weight perfect and you've got your compression perfect, which is key to this market. I think customer end user, what they want is they want to have a joint that burn evenly, and they don't create like all kinds of space, if you want, within the pre-rolls. And that's been the issue with automated machinery, where it's difficult to compact from the crunch up, where we nailed that technology.
Yeah, it's about having a consistent experience throughout the pre-roll. When you talk about smaller producers that this is built for, what type of output are you thinking? Like, how many will it make per hour? What size of business is this ideal for?
I mean, the output will probably range from, let's say, 400 to 600 per hour, depending on the operator, obviously, because the operator will be the one who's going to put the empty cones in and remove the cones. So roughly about 500 per hour.
Okay.
And because of the cost, it's going to be, you're looking at something that people that will make as low as, let's say, 10,000 a month of pre-rolls to 50,000 a month. This is the typical customer, maybe up to 100,000. It's also could be for larger producer where they have a specific size that they want to run, and they have like a larger machine that they're producing a very large quantity. But let's say they want to do, let's say, a blunt, for example, because the machine will be able to do blunt or something more special that they have maybe lower volume but they still want the quality. So they could buy this machine also for that purpose. So it's not just for the smaller, but at least the smaller could afford that machine, and the payback will be significantly short enough to justify that investment.
No, I like that idea that, it's also for larger companies, possibly MSOs that are doing small batch manufacturing.
Exactly. What the other product we created that could go with that machine, but could also go with the conventional vibrating type technology that's out there everywhere. We created what's called the box finisher, and the box finisher, it's basically once you've let's say you use it with the P50. So P50, you'll take out the pre-rolls that's been weighed, compacted, and you put it into a specific tray. So you fill that tray. It's about 300 pre-rolls in that tray. You put the tray into a box finisher. The box finisher, what it does, and we'll have a video running there, you'll be able to see it, but basically it picks up the pre-rolls directly with a robot arm, go into the machine, twist it perfectly, and do a cut and flat top. So create a crown top, perfect crown top, totally automated. And that machine will follow easily about 500 again, 600 per hour. But that could be the combination of this also vibrating type technology also. And you put those straight into that machine, and the machine will automate the whole process of twisting, cutting, flat top. So it's called the box finisher. So that's also a very important product that we released also at the same time.
In the box finisher, in which, for the people who are listening to the audio version of this, you can see a video of it playing as we speak. It works with the Knockbox, the Rocket Box, products like that, correct?
Exactly. So, yeah, and there's other vibrating type technology out there that are not as popular, but yes, anything that will actually create a pre-rolls without twisting it. So we basically take the pre-rolls, and when it enters into the machine, we finish. That's why we call it the box finisher for knock boxes, rocket box. And that was the idea behind choosing that name. It's because the good complement to existing vibrating technology.
How did you come up with the idea for the box finisher? Was it a client that came to you looking for a solution? Were you seeing other things on the market that just weren't working? How to start?
I mean, because you have to understand that because we've developed so much technology within the large machine with the twisting, the cutting, the flat top, and we were asked to, we'd like to have that, but we cannot afford this, and we have a bunch of knock boxes out there. So we kind of saw that potential, plus the technology was already developed with the larger machine. So the module within the box finisher, the twister module, the cutting and the flat top modules, even the movement is all the technology that we've already developed in the more expensive technology. So it was for us, engineering wise, to put this kind of product on the market was quite quick, and knowing customer were looking for a way of reducing their personnel, the people that makes pre-rolls. We thought this would be a very, very good idea. So, and it was a combination with talking with a bunch of people also in the industry, and people like Futurola and a bunch of people that were actually looking at that kind of technology. So we had something close to be ready for market. That was the main.
With the pre-roller 50, you had mentioned that the weights and the tumbler are the same. Did you have to make those smaller to fit into a smaller footprint, or are they the same size as they are, in the 100 and 200?
It's exactly the same size. Actually, we took station, we call it in our engineering within the company, it's station number 4. So basically, station number 4 is identical to the station to what you find in the pre-roller 200 or 100. So we obviously it's a bit more expensive, but it's not that big either. So the machine footprint is pretty small. It's basically the size of the box finisher, which is about 3 feet by 3.5. Not even that, 30 inches by about 40 inches long. And it's a tabletop type machine. So same thing for the P50. We were able to fit the original tumbler, the original pre-compaction, the needle, like our patent system for compaction and the weighing within that smaller footprint. What we've designed, obviously, is the table that rotate semi-automatic. What we did in terms of security, we have 2 push buttons. So operator, once they put the empty cone in, you're just going to press 2 buttons. The disc will turn, remove the filled one if you want, and then after that, put the empty one in, and that's the way it goes. So, yeah.
And the box finisher, that can also be used for oil injection, correct?
That's a good point. Yes. Thank you to bring that up, David. What we did is we basically created with the box finisher a universal platform where we have what's called the injector. As you know, the market is the percentage of the market towards infused product and inject product, like with distillate or other product into the pre-rolls is big, is huge in the US. And we started that at least 18 months ago, working with infused product and now oil injection. We have a oil injector on the pre-roller 200 that can be added to the pre-roller 200 while it's making pre-rolls. We can actually inject distillate or oil or diamonds or whatever you want to put into liquid into a pre-roll. So it's something that we wanted to take that technology that we've also developed and put it into a tabletop type format. And I know we didn't mention that on our last podcast together on the oil injector tabletop one. So basically, you take the box finisher. Box finisher is like 3 modules. So the first modules could be just the pick and place. So you could actually have a system that does the pre-rolls and the twists. Okay. And the machine will just pick up that pre-rolls that's been twisted already. And then the second station will be the cutting and flat top. And the third station will be the oil injection. The other thing that's very important to understand is also when we create the flat top, we also punch a hole in the middle of that pre-rolls to make sure that when you go to the oil injection, you don't have to go through the paper. The hole is already there. So the actual syringe or the needle goes in, and very accurately through servo motors. We have four temperature zones into that oil injector. We've been through extensive testing. So that module is exactly the same that what's been running on the pre-roller 200. Now it's available on that box finisher. So box finisher is modular. So let's say a customer wants to just use it as a twist, cut, create a flat top. He can, but it'll eventually you could add the oil injector to it, or he buys it as just an oil injector, and the pre-roll has been before. So there's variants of the box finisher itself.
Similar to the pre-roller 100 and 200, does it work with various cones from different manufacturers? And I remember that a big part of that was that it calibrated based on the individual cones, not necessarily, to make sure that that's how, I could be wrong, so I apologize if I'm wrong, but isn't that how they maintain the consistency?
Yes, exactly. No, you're right. Absolutely. So yes, it can work with all the different cone manufacturer out there. We also have our own cones, but customers are using any cones and it works. And your question was that the actual holder is machine specific to exact size of the cone itself. So yes, it's still the same on the P50 pre-roller 50. So it's basically a cone holder that's manufactured to the specific size of the cones itself. So, and that's how we can create the quality with the pre-roller, is because of those little details. So when you compress product within a cone, you want to make sure that the walls are extremely well machined and adapt perfectly to the cone itself. So you can actually decide the amount of compression you want to put in. And yes, that comes along. But yes, you got the same flexibility from 70 millimeters up to 140 millimeters. And you can also use it with straight tube, blunt, glass tip. So it's extremely flexible also. You can also use it as a filler for grounded product also. So some customer ask us to fill tubes with pop-ups. And so you can actually put tubes in there and put up to 3 grams of products within a plastic tube. And that machine is the same thing with the 100 and 200 can do it. That semi-automatic also have that flexibility.
So a big reasoning behind the development of these two new products is that people have the need, customers have the need, but they don't have the capital. Did you have a specific target that you were working towards, trying to find something within the price point of these smaller manufacturers?
Yes, we worked so hard we had a price in mind to be competitive, and we worked extremely hard in trying to get to that number. And the reason why we are, I think, able to do it is because the research and development in terms of those stations, either the pre-roller 50 or the box finisher, obviously we spent a lot of money into developing that with our larger machine. So that's why those stations are already tested, proven, working. R&D investment has been done, so we don't have to charge portion of the R&D into those smaller machines. So that makes we think we're going to be extremely competitive to be able to go after customers that want the quality, wants to remove human factors, if you want, in terms of an uncertainty. And as you know, unemployment rate is so low right now that it's difficult to find good people and to keep them. So you train them, sometimes they leave. So with automation, obviously the machines show up every morning and it's there. So we had that in mind, and people were complaining also about the labor intensive of using vibrating type technology. But I think vibrating type technology will still be there and will still be around. We're not trying to go after those technology. We're trying to be a good complement for people who wants to get into automation.
In terms of personnel that you would need to dedicate to these machines, would it just be one per, or would you need one on each side of the machine, or are these machines that can be tended by one person per shift?
Very good question. I'll explain the process and you'll get it right away. So you'll have a person full-time sitting in front of that pre-roller 50, okay? And the guy will basically put empty cones in and remove the one that's been filled. So when he has his filled one, he fills an actual tray, okay, of pre-rolls. So once that tray is filled, he's going to take the tray and put it into the box finisher. And the box finisher will be able to work by itself. So you could have one person or two persons, because you're going to may need somebody who fill the tumbler and maybe check the box finisher. So I would say probably 1.5 persons to possibly 2 persons for 500 an hour of high quality. You may also need to do a check weighing of the final product. In Canada, you have to have a check weighing of the end product. In the US, it's not as tough in terms of regulation, because you're still going to weigh with the pre-roller 50. You weigh your flour within the pre-roll, so very accurately, and you can recheck that. So you still have that here and there. So you have that verification, but you don't have the last verification. So you may have to have somebody there that check the actual weight of each product. So every, let's say 20 or 30, you may have to do a check weighing. So that could be an extra half a person. So I would say possibly 2 persons, depending on your operation.
Okay. Well, and that also kind of really fits with some of the restrictions that some of these smaller operators have in terms of, being able to hire staff.
Yeah, exactly. And the space also, as you know, boxes and those vibrating technology, they take up quite a bit of space. So you may want to reduce that with the pre-roller 50. And so you have less management to do, obviously, and at a reasonable price. So basically what we want to be able to address the pre-roller market at all level. And because we had the technology developed and working, so we wanted to take advantage of that. So you have to understand that we're going back quite a while with this technology. So it's like 4 or 5 years. So we're now shipping version 5 of the larger machine. So all of those improvements, we're basically taking those improvements and put it into the smaller machine. So that gives us that opportunity to offer, I think, a high level technology at a reasonable price. That was the target.
Well, that was what I've always found interesting about how you guys do business, is that you're not just designing for the next iteration. All the design improvements that you make on the next iteration could eventually find themselves on the existing machines in the marketplace as you upgrade, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because a machine is totally modular. Yeah. So that's also a big thing that we started to do initially, and that was part of the first engineering meeting we had. He said we knew that the machine wouldn't work first shot. We knew that, and so we basically designed the machine to be modular. So every time we came up with something better, so the customer would receive a module. So we have like 10 modules, larger machine, 8 on the smaller one, and even this one, the pre-roller 50. But the pre-roller 50 take advantage of all this 5 years of R&D that we had. So it's basically more a repackaging of our already known technology. So yeah, that's critical. Plus also software. I mean, if we talk about the larger machine, what we're trying to do now is make the machine as user-friendly as possible, as much as possible. So we've implemented a lot of closed-loop control in terms of the weight, in terms of all the functionality in the machine now. We're trying to make it automated. And so that's what version 5 of the machine is going to come up with. We're working really hard on that.
Have you announced a price range for either product yet, or is that still up in the air?
I mean, right now I'm not 100% fixed on the pricing. So I don't want to give it to you now because I'm not 100% sure of where we're going to be. So we need some more information, engineering-wise, cost-wise. I'm not 100%. We built the box finisher. We have a machine built that's working, been on testing. You'll see it on the video. On the other one, it's being basically built now. So I don't have the exact costing. Plus, so I cannot give you a price. All I can tell you is that it's going to be extremely price competitive. And that's the goal. I mean, there's so much company out there that just started, and they want to have a way of optimizing their production. And so you want to make sure that they can afford this technology. And that's what I'm working hard on that, to be honest with you, to put the price that is reasonable enough for most customer to buy it.
Well, and I mean, when it does come out, based on the output and the manpower required, the ROI is something that's pretty simple to calculate.
Exactly. So yeah, we've been there so many times. I mean, we have over 120 machines sold, so we have so many customers. So we understand the payback on the larger machine. We understand what would be the payback on the smaller machine too. So and that's also where we're trying to be way below 1 year of payback. Okay, that's basically our target. As you probably know, I don't know if you know, David, but we also deal with the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry with our other division. Right. So I've been for a long time, And usually payback on machinery like that is 2, 3 years, 4 years. I've seen 5 years. But in cannabis, it's very different. It's a fast-moving industry and technology, and people want to basically, when they invest, they want to have their money back quickly. And the pre-roller has been successful because of that. I mean, we're below a year easily, even lower than that. So, and that's where we're going to be, probably lower. I mean, I don't want to give you numbers because I don't have the exact. Yeah, but we're going to be right there.
No, that makes sense. So you said box finisher still in testing, and the 50 is almost at the finish line. What are you looking at in terms of to start delivering the product?
Right now, if we take orders now, you're looking for the pre-roller 50. You're looking at about 14 weeks. Okay, 14 weeks. On the box finisher, it's a faster because we're actually into testing is done. So we're probably looking at 10 to 12 weeks right now and our goal is to put them in stock. We're producing them in quantity, as we do actually for the larger machine also. But this one we'll try to keep it on the shelf. It will be a much easier also implementation than the larger machine that has way more automation to it. So in terms of the turnaround, we'll probably be we feel that in the next 4 to 6 months, we should be able to deliver those things in 4 to 6 weeks maximum. Oh, okay. That's the goal.
When you talk about installation, are they pretty plug and play?
Yes, this is the goal. Yes, there's going to be a video on how to install it. So we have like SOP, which is the complete procedure on from start to finish. We already have a lot of technology in terms of our HMI on the larger machine, where you have a QR code, where you have complete all the videos, all the information to do your setup and training and everything. So we are going to do a video for each machine. So when you deliver the machine, you'll have the video on how to do your setup. We're always there also to support the customer. And this has been my goal, okay, and the team knows about it, is to give customers first. When we get a call from customers, boom, we're on it. Okay, we want to help you out. Customer purchase these kind of machine to produce and make money, and I'm putting myself in their shoes all the time. So, and it's going to be the same thing for the smaller machine, but because the automation is way simpler, it's going to require it's going to be a machine that's going to be way simpler. It's not going to require a technician on site to do a startup. So we'll be there remotely to assist customers, and we'll welcome customers to come over to our facility to get some training. But in terms of going on site, I mean, we may do it because we have a lot of technicians that are on the road, but I don't think it's going to be required.
Are you going to be at MJ Biz in November?
Yes.
Will versions of these be at your booth?
Yes, we'll have a box finisher, and we'll have a pre-roller 50 also in demonstration at the MJ. We'll have both of those machines in November. The pre-roller 50 will not be a full-blown demo with product in it. But we have so many other, also, as you know, the pre-roller 100, the 200, and those two new products. So we'll have also the pre-roller line. I don't know, I did mention that, but we have a bunch of other solutions for the cannabis industry that's been extremely popular. So we have the whole solution to automate a plant from cannabis, grounded cannabis, up to delivery in the box. So we have those complete solution that could be another podcast that we can talk about the other solution of the, let's say, end of line. After the pre-rolls is made, we have a lot of other solutions that's in that we're delivering right now. It's in new products also.
No, I would definitely be interested in that. I always enjoy talking to you, Harold, because of your engineering background and the kind of work that you put in up front for these machines. I'm also, I'll be in Vegas too, so I'm kind of excited for the opportunity to see the machines up close and personal.
Yes. I mean, definitely we'll be there, and I'd love to show you everything, David. As you know, we also have a facility in Las Vegas. Also, we have demos there too. So for private presentation, it could be done also. Yeah, I'll be very happy to meet you in person, David. That'd be great. That'd be absolutely amazing.
Excellent. Keep launching new products. I like having a constant conversation with you, Harold. It's a pleasure.
Okay, a real pleasure to meet you, David. Thank you for listening to me. And again, if you have questions about those products, please don't hesitate to visit our website. It's not yet up to date with all the with those new products, because that's a really you're basically the first one I talked to about those new. But it's going to be on the website very, very, very soon. And obviously, we're all here to be able to answer any question your auditor would have on these technologies.
Excellent. Well, you sort of gave us the wrap up there, but is there anything that we left out, or anything in particular you want to make sure that the Cannabis Equipment News audience knows about the new box finisher or the pre-roller 50?
No, I think we covered everything, David. And again, one thing I want to finish with is our dedication to customer service and listening to the customer needs. This is for me the most important thing. So that's how I want to finish with that. And the team are all excited about the future of our company. It's going well. We're all very happy about that.
We're happy to hear that as well, Harold.
I want to take the time to thank all of my employees, also all my team. They work so hard, and for me, it's so important, and it's also important for them. So I want to thank them for everything they're doing for the company.
Oh, excellent! That's excellent to hear. And thank you, Harold, for coming to Cannabis Equipment News first. I really appreciate you sharing the news with us, and hope to be able to do it again soon.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you very much, everybody. Talk to you soon, David. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, before we get out here, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You could also help us out a lot by leaving the podcast a positive review on whatever platform you use. Finally, if you want to email the podcast, you could reach me at David@Cannabis Equipment News with email the podcast in the subject line. All right. For Harold Bouchard, I'm David Manti. This is the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Cannabis Equipment News Podcast.